Hello everyone and welcome to my third video. Right now I'm still trying to make a good video. So yes, some feedback from people like Elstock was important, and keep giving me some good feedback so that I can improve. Thank you very much. So in this video I'm gonna go with a new opening from the black. That is Berlin defense. It is not the one of the famous opening that is used most of it by the players today. But it is effective against the real lopez. So that's why it is picking its pace in the today's world. So let's not waste any time, and let's move into the opening. So okay, this this opening is played when white plays e4. Yes, when the white plays e4, we play e5, which is a common opening in the today's world. And after that, white goes to d4, trying to attack on the center and create more advantage on the center. So after that, in this Berlin defense, we take the d4 pawn with e5 pawn, which uh, which is the first few moves of Berlin defense. So after this white tries to make some space by pushing the pawn to c3. In this video, we are gonna go with three variation. So in the first stage, in the first stage, I'm gonna go with the simple opening of Berlin defense. After that, I'm gonna expand it, like how can you create some space and have some advantage playing the black. And on the third one, uh, I'm gonna go maximum 20 moves to 22 moves, so that you can know how can it be played against the Rui Lopez. So in this situation, white tries to create the space for its queen, and yes, to make some good positions. So so in this situation, after the white plays to c3, we just develop the queen to e7, so that we can attack the pawn, and in the future, and it can be a development for the future as well. So so uh, so in this situation, the best move for the white is to take the pawn. Why? Because it can defend the pawn, as well as well as the uh, as well as the material can be taken back. So in this situation, white goes to c6, so that it can attack the queen. And let's say the white goes back, and the best move would be to e3 rather than to back to d1, because the queen is already developed, and we should take the advantage of it. So yes, the queen goes to e3, which is a good move because it would be defending the pawn. And uh, and after this move, the black goes and develop the other knight, that is f6, because it would attack the pawn, and the queen would attack it as well. And even if the white pushes the pawn, the black would have some advantage. And yes, so white can also go with pawn to f3, defending it, but it would create a weak square for the king. And um, and yes, guys, that's it for the first few moves of the Berlin defense. And um, and let's move into the next one, onto the second variation. We are gonna play the Berlin defense against the Rui Lopez. And Rui Lopez is one of the famous opening played by white, we are gonna play the Berlin defense and learn how to counter it. So let's start without any delay. So in this situation, also not in this situation, but in this opening Rui Lopez, white is gonna start with e4, because it is the first move for Rui Lopez. and as we are playing the ball in defense, we are gonna go with e5. After that, white develops the knight out. We are gonna develop our knight so that it can defend the pawn which is being attacked by the white's knight. So after this move, to complete the Rui Lopez sequence, the white is gonna develop the bishop to b5, attacking the knight, so that after this move, if the pawn is not defended on e5, it can it can create a it can create a pawn or material down for the black. So we are gonna see that threat, and we are gonna develop the bishop to c5, so that so that even after he takes and we take back, he cannot take the pawn because this is gonna be a good attack, or you can even call it a fork. So we are gonna so after this move, seeing the threat, he's gonna push the pawn to d3, so that he can develop the bishop and then attack the queen. We are gonna develop the knight, so that even if he brings the bishop out, and then let's say he attacks the knight, and then we can attack it and as well as defend the pawn. Even the knight is gone. So 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 let's say he's gonna take it, and then we are gonna take it back. As I told you, he cannot take it back because we are gonna bring the queen to d4, going for a mate. And then we can defend the pawn various ways, like we can even develop the knight to d7, defending the pawn. We can, and our bishop is active as well. His knight is not active, and our black bishop is active. Our knight is active, queen is also active, that it can go for checkmate in the two moves. And yes, that is it for the second variation. And after this I'm gonna go with more detail on the Rui Lopez, where the opponent is gonna go for more detail, and the opponent and the variation is same, Rui Lopez. So let's move on to the third variation. So hello everyone, let's start the third variation. So in this variation, I'm gonna show you how the bowling defense can be played up to the middle game against Rui Lopez. And it is not the perfect gameplay, because in the actual gameplay, any anyway the game could go, and the opponent is not and the opponent and it's not sure that the opponent is gonna play the same exact move played by me. Still, I'm trying to make it. Uh, still, I try to make it the way that the white plays the best move against the black. So let's start the ball in defense against the Rui Lopez. So for the Rui Lopez, the first move is e4. Black responds with e5, knight out to f3, knight out to c6, because it defends the pawn on e5. Then bishop b5. So in this variation, we are gonna go a little bit different. So in this variation, I'm gonna bring the knight out, because because in this because in this variation we are gonna just underlook. So we are not so we are gonna assume that the white is not gonna go for the pawn, because he knows he knows the future threat. So after this move, the white is gonna go for the castle, and then we are gonna take the free pawn on e4 that was not defended by the white. So after this move, we are gonna go. So after this move, white is gonna respond with attack on the d4, not on the knight, but on the d4, because after this move, if I don't do anything and I just stayed like pushing the pawn on d5 or f5, he's gonna take. He's gonna bring the knight to e5, taking the pawn on e5 and attacking the knight to c6, or even take with the knight and have a better position than the black. So So the black is gonna respond with knight to d6, so that it could attack the bishop as well as have a better position for the knight. So after this move, the white is gonna take, black is gonna take back the bishop, because that's the best move for the white as well as for the black. So in this situation, the black has a little bit of disadvantage because the pawn is being attacked. That will attack the knight, which yes, of course, the white is gonna take because that's the best move for him. It can trade the queens and stop the king from castle. So yes, we need to bring the knight to safety. That is f5, because that's the better position for right now. Because even if the pawn attacks it, it could go for h6 or to d4, defending it, or even to the e7. So that the knight. So f5 is a better position. So after that, yes, the queen is gone. Black takes back. The white starts to develop his other knight, and then we bring the king to safety because we don't want it to be checked early in the game. And then he's gonna try to attack the knight away, because if he directly attacks it, it does has the risk of being attacked by the bishop. So he's trying to build up the pawns and kick the knight away, and we respond it with bishop development, so that we could have some access of the king side through black bishop. So after that, the opponent also develops the black bishop. We develop the last bishop, white bishop to e6. The the white develops the rook to d1, so that he can have the open file. After that, we start to attack on the king side, so that we could have some space from the king side, because our king is weak. It is on the center of the board where it could be attacked from anywhere else. So 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 to show some fighting instinct, we attack on h5. After that, the opponent develops the knight, so that it can have some better space, better position, because the knight inside the opponent's territory is 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 the most is advantage to the opponent. So after that, the bishop needs to take the black. Uh, After that, the bishop needs to take the knight, because the knight on the opponent's territory is so much advantage. So the bishop takes back. So we push the pawn, so that we can attack the bishop from h5, because the bishop is having a good position where it can go for checkmate. After, if the white doubles of the rook. Mm, so in the response, um, the the knight is developed, so that it can just save the bishop. Yes, the black attacks the bishop, and the bishop goes back to safety, because black can play d5 and attack the knight, which can be defended, but it would open a space for the black knights. So so it brings bishop to safety, before even the before even the black can play to d5. Black can play bishop to d5. So after this, we need to kick the bishop from this side, because it is defending the h6, and we do want to go to g6, so that we can attack the pawn on g2. So that's the idea for playing knight to e7. The white tries to bring the rook to f3, so that it can have the better space. After that, the white goes. After that, the black goes bishop. Black goes attacking the bishop on f4. The bishop goes back, and and it and the rook on h5 cannot go to g5 directly, because it is being attacked by the knight. So the white's rook also gets some space on the f7 pawn, so that it could be used in the future. Yes, the previous idea was implemented by the black, attacking on g2. White brings the other rook, so that it can cover the file, and the king goes to e7. And the idea here is to bring the rook to h8, or f7, g7, anyway, to attack the king. So from this moment, the endgame starts. And 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 I hope I and then I hope, guys, you did get some idea of how the Berlin defense could be implemented in the middle game against the Rui Lopez. And so, guys, that's it for today. And please like and subscribe the video. And thank you for staying until the end. And please give me some feedback. I know my English and some theory is not good enough, and I will try to make it better.